All right, guys, I'm back, and I want to say first and foremost, I am so sorry for all the cursing in that last video. I know that some of you loved it. Some of you really loved it. You felt my anger, you felt my frustration, you felt my rage, but a lot of you did not like it, and you were vocal about it. I got comments about it. I got some people sliding into my DMs telling me I got a fresh mouth, I got to wash my mouth out with soap. And I got people saying that they're not subscribing because of the foul language in the video. So I heard you guys loud and clear. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to try to talk quick, keep it tight, keep it concise. I wanted to speak about the opportunities that Steven Avery had to lie about things in his case that would have only helped him, but he didn't lie about. Why didn't he lie about these things? Because he's innocent. That's why he didn't lie. Innocent people don't lie. Never once did Steven Avery blame anyone. He never tells us, the cops, the viewers, his lawyers, he never tries to throw anyone under the bus. Why? Because he knows what it's like to get thrown under a bus and to be wrongfully convicted. And if he has no proof that it was anyone else, he's smart enough to know that you don't just accuse people. He could have, though. He could have accused everybody on the Avery Salvage Yard property. He could have got them all pulled in. He could have lied and said he heard family members talking about it. He didn't do any of that because he doesn't know what happened. Okay, so when he and Chuck were going to Menards that day, he saw headlights, Chuck saw taillights, etc., however you want to slice it. You've seen season 2. When they went back, they didn't see anything. Now, that to people who see a car on their property and then they don't see the car, they just leave. Now, do we know if people were inside of Steven's house? We don't know. It's speculated. Do we know if someone was hiding in a car? We don't know. We just know that these not extremely intelligent brothers went back to look, they didn't see anything, and then off they went to Menards. The point is, at this stage of the game, either of them could have lied and said they saw a car that they didn't recognize. They saw someone run off into the bushes. They could have said a number of things, but they didn't because none of that happened. So they're not going to lie to help their case. They're telling the truth, and it's up to Kathleen Zellner, us, and ultimately the judges to fill in the rest. When Steven got home from Menards that night, he went into his apartment, but he didn't go into the bathroom where he had been bleeding on the sink, on the floor. He said he peed outside. I don't understand this concept of peeing outside, but I imagine that on the Avery Salvage Yard in Manitowoc County in the country, it's just something you do. I didn't grow up in the country, but I imagine if I did, if you did it, it's just what you do. So he said he peed outside, then he went into his house and went to bed. He never saw the bathroom until the next day when he says that all the blood was gone or cleaned up. Now this strikes two thoughts to me. One, if someone did go in there and take the blood, why did they clean the whole thing up? Probably to make it like, well, there was no blood here, or else the scene would look like it had been tampered with, some blood taken. The other part of it is, why wouldn't Steven lie and say that when he went home, the blood was gone? I went in the bathroom, all the blood was gone, because he's telling the truth. It's something minor, but it's a little flag that he's telling the truth. He didn't use the bathroom. He went to bed. Then when he went to the bathroom the next day, the blood was all cleaned up. And he didn't clean it up. He doesn't have a housekeeper, right? On that same note, he also could have said stuff had been moved around his house. Someone had been in my house, I could tell. He never said that. He never said it. So all I'm saying is little things, little white lies that could have helped support this theory were never and will never be told because he's not lying. He's strictly telling the truth. That's the thematic thread here. And for those of you naysayers, you don't even get me started with all this proof that you have against him. Watch the documentaries, even though they are biased, form your own conclusion, but don't make shit up. Steven could have said it looked like somebody broke into his house. We all saw Kathleen pop the door with a Slim Jim. Personally, I don't feel like Steven Avery even locks his door. So I don't even think someone would have had to do that. He could have lied and said that he doesn't lock his door. He also could have lied and said that it looked like someone tried to break in. Didn't. Stephen Avery has maintained his innocence throughout this entire thing. What you guys don't know, in researching the psychology, the background of all these types of cases, the human mind and the human body breaks down. When it knows this is the end of the road, it confesses. It doesn't maintain innocence. And don't get me started with Brendan Dassey's confession, because the only reason they're gonna keep doing this is once his confession is out, Stephen's whole case, as Kathleen will tell you, begins to collapse, because it was Brendan's confession that started all this hoopla. When the rumor started 2 years ago that it was possibly done by Scott Taddick, Stephen's brother-in-law, and Bobby Dassey, Stephen's nephew, they started in 2015, those rumors. Stephen could have jumped on and helped corroborate those stories by saying, Scott said this, Bobby did this. He didn't do any of that. Do you know why? Because if his brother-in-law and his other nephew were guilty of this and they watched their two family members take the fall, you don't know how to feel. You don't know what to do. And you also have no proof. So you're gonna look foolish if you start pointing the finger. That's why he doesn't do it. Stupid liars are bad liars. Then there are people who don't lie. People in this family, as sad as the situation is, and as down on their luck as things are, and it's tough times right now. It's tough times in America. It's tough times in New York. It's tough times in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. These people aren't lying. And if you're a good judge of character, you can tell that. Also, if you're caught in one lie, it kind of makes everything else that you say hard to believe. So keep that in mind. I also want to say here, just like a blanket statement, if you get on the wrong side of the law, and here comes a curse word, you're fucked. He got on the wrong side of the law when he was a kid. He was wrongfully convicted of that rape situation. Then he had this massive lawsuit he was gonna come into. Now he's back in there. So he was on the wrong side of the law and he was fucked. Now what do we do? Present day, it's almost 2019. How many years have they been locked up? How many days, how many hours have been taken away from the time that they could be spending with their family, their friends? How much time? What happens now? Well, we wait. I have to wait, you have to wait, but we're free to go on with our everyday lives. They are not, they're stuck. I'm having a hard time sleeping some nights and I wake up legit thinking about the family and how messed up this is. So can you imagine what they go through? Every day having to wake up and think, is it gonna be today? And toying with Brendan and his family. Out, in, out, in, out, in. Don't even get me started on Brad Schimmel. What should Scott and Bobby do now? And Ryan and the other Scott, Teresa's roommate. The name of the game is, if you want to be eliminated, like Kathleen will tell you, you got to come and talk to her. You got to talk to the police. You got to tell them what you know. If you're innocent, then you have nothing to hide. But unfortunately, in the United States, if you mess with evidence, or if you move a car, or if you purposely omit something or lie under oath, sorry, Charlie, you're going to jail. And not necessarily jail, but if you messed with the justice system and you prevented the truth from coming out, karma's a bitch. And that bitch is named Kathleen fucking Zellner. Don't even get me started. Step one, don't bash Kathleen. Scott, if you're innocent, let's not call her the C word, the see you next Tuesday word, and Facebook rants. If you're innocent, then buddy, you have nothing to worry about. All this bad talk makes you look guilty. Bobby Dassey, what do you do now? All of us as teenagers might have looked up some strange things on the internet, but we all didn't look up what you looked up. Let's pretend you just looked that stuff up and you never did this to Teresa. Well, gee, it looks pretty bad that you looked this stuff up and then this girl ends up getting killed and your relative is accused of doing all these crazy things that you looked up on the internet. So what do you do now? Cooperate. If you didn't do it, you have nothing to worry about. And now Ken Kratz wants to talk about how Kathleen Zellner is doing this for the fame when this asshole has been on book tour after TV appearance, Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, Dateline. He can't get enough of it. He can't stop talking about it because it's keeping him relevant, it's keeping him famous, and it's keeping his name in our mouths. People are buying his book, even to spite him. People buy the book just to read the nonsense that he wrote about this case. This guy's already gotten in so much trouble with other shit that he's done. He's not even practicing law anymore. He's got a new nymph girlfriend. Don't even get me started with this monster who, at the end of the day, what's Ken Kratz gonna say when Stephen and Brendan are free? He's gonna say the same thing that Trump would say if Trump ever got impeached. Well, the people just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and they finally got what they want. This shouldn't have happened, but it happened because the people wouldn't stop. So we finally get to stop talking about it. We all know Stephen did it. We all know Stephen and Brendan did it, but they're out now. You know what? Their lives are all screwed up anyway. It doesn't matter. They're never, ever, even if Kathleen gets a confession out of Scott and Bobby, which would be a dream, but it ain't gonna happen. If she gets a confession, Ken Kratz is still gonna say that the documentary messed with people, nobody could form their own opinions because it was biased. So that's his story, and he's sticking to it. And he's gonna rot in hell for it. I don't even believe in hell, and he's gonna rot in hell. I'll believe in hell just so Ken Kratz can rot in hell. All right, guys, once again, thank you for taking the time to watch the videos. I try my best to read all the comments. I can't reply to all of them. It's a problem that I'm happy to have. If you really feel strongly about something, do as a lot of you are doing. Send me a message on Facebook. Send me a message on Instagram. I can't follow you all back, especially if you have no content or if you have one photo of a cat with your grandfather. I can't follow all these accounts back, but I promise I will respond to every direct message and every Facebook message because I've been doing this for a long time. But sometimes those comments are really, really fucked up. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Let me know what you want me to talk about next because I do want to make another video and keep you guys updated here. We're all in this together, guys. Check out some of my other content. If you want to donate to Kathleen Zellner's organization, I'm going to post the link below. If you want to send any gas cards, gift cards, or any types of special things to the Salvage Yard, I'll post that address as well. The family is in need of anything we, the people, can give. They've given us so much to think about. The least we can do is give them a little bit of something back. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you soon.